This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi.
Swatantra is an investor education initiative from UTI, and I'm proud to welcome on the show today Debraj Das. He is founder of LearnEX, a mobile app launched for training on concepts of banking, mutual funds, and insurance. Debraj, welcome to the show. Wonderful to see you.
Good morning. I'm glad to be on the show.
We are going to spend the entire week trying to understand debt funds a little better. The first question is, how can one use debt funds to meet various goals, and where do debt funds invest the money?
Okay, so before understanding where debt fund can be used and where does debt fund invest, we need to first understand what debt is. So debt primarily means udhar. Okay, so a bank fixed deposit is a debt. Okay, a corporate bond is a debt. A government bond is a debt. So now you know where does the debt fund primarily invests. So it invests in fixed income instruments like fixed deposits, like corporate bonds, like Government of India bonds. Okay. Now, how one uses debt fund to meet their goals entirely depends upon the profile of the investor. So how much debt and how much equity actually depends upon what is the risk profile of the customer.
More conversation with Debraj Das on Swatantra. Don't go anywhere.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi.
Debraj Das is in the studio. He's the founder of LearnEX, a mobile app. This is Swatantra, an investor education initiative brought to you by UTI in partnership with 94.3 Radio 1. Debraj, the second question for the day is, what are the types of debt funds? Are debt funds predominantly for short-term investments?
Okay, so debt funds have various types. The most basic debt fund would be a fund which is known as liquid fund. Okay. Now, liquid fund is the most shortest tenure fund where one invests for short-term parking of the funds. Then there are short-term bond funds. Okay. Now, these are primarily for 1 year to 2 year, 3 year types of investment horizon. Then there are income funds. Now, income funds, they are for a longer term horizon. Income fund can also be, broken down into a fund category which is known as corporate bond fund or accrual bond funds. Okay. These are for specific periods. So it can be an 1 year accrual bond fund or a 3 year accrual bond fund or a 5 year accrual bond fund. So there are various types of bond funds.
More Debraj Das tomorrow on Swatantra. And if you want to play catch up every Friday at the end of the week, these conversations are uploaded on beswatantra.com. That's www.beswatantra.com. Debraj, thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you in studio tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, Hrishi. See you tomorrow.
UTI Mutual Fund presents UTI Swatantra Series Season 2, powered by 94.3 Radio 1. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi.
It's Swatantra, an investor education initiative brought to you by UTI. And on the second day this particular week, it's Debraj Das, who is my guest, the founder of LearnEX. And before starting LearnEX, the mobile app, he had a decade-plus stint in the banking and wealth management business. Debraj, good to see you. How are you doing this morning?
Hi, Hrishi. Good morning.
This entire week, we're talking about debt funds and understanding debt funds. And the first question today is, what is an FMP? Why do you need to invest in FMPs?
Okay, now FMPs primarily means fixed maturity plan. So there is a maturity period of every portfolio. And if that maturity period is known to the investor and the fund defines that maturity period, that type of fund is known as fixed maturity plan. Now, the second part of your question, why should somebody invest in an FMP? Now, FMPs can be ranging from 1 month, 3 months, which are primarily known as, periodic funds, to 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and even 10 year FMPs are available nowadays. If somebody has a very fixed, tenor where he would require the funds after that fixed tenor, somebody requires, say, some money after 5 years, and he knows that before that he won't require that money. So it is a very safe play putting that money into an FMP where he gets a tentative idea of how much yield he would make out of that investment. And the biggest thing is he's locking that yield as of today, so that tomorrow if the yields go down and the investments made thereafter do not make that type of returns, he's not too much bothered about it because he has locked his yields as of today.
More Debraj Das up ahead on Swatantra. Don't go anywhere.
This This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi.
It's Swatantra, an investor education initiative by UTI, and we're proud to support it in 94.3 Radio 1. Debraj Das is my guest of the week. He's the founder of LearnEX, a free of cost training for the bottom of the pyramid youth to become job ready in these sectors. And he was just talking about an FMP. The final question for the day, Debraj, is can one do an SIP, a systematic investment plan in debt funds?
Okay, so Rishi, what happens is an SIP primarily is done to capture the volatility of any investment. Now, debt primarily is less volatile than an equity investment. So, on one hand, SIP does not suits a debt investment, a debt fund. But saying that, nobody can stop an investor to do an SIP in debt.
Makes sense. And is it something that you would advise people to do?
A portion of it, which one would like to save for some contingency, can be used as a monthly SIP to apportion it as a contingency fund in a liquid or a short-term income fund. Yeah.
Debraj, thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the Wednesday edition of Swatantra.
Thanks, Hrishi. Goodbye.
UTI Mutual Fund presents UTI Swatantra Series Season 2, powered by 94.3 Radio 1. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi.
Swatantra, an investor education initiative by UTI, returns. 94.3 Radio 1 are proud partners. Debraj Das is my guest of the week, and we're understanding debt funds. He's the founder of LearnEX, a mobile app, and advanced diploma in portfolio management from IIM Bengaluru. That's this gentleman. Hi, good morning. Great to see you this Wednesday. How are you doing?
Good morning, Hrishi. How are you?
Excellent. Continuing our series on debt funds. How are debt funds comparable to FDs and post office savings, Debraj?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, debt is an investment into these very fixed income instruments like a fixed deposit or a bond. Now, how does it differ? So, one invests in debt fund, understanding that the debt fund in return invests in these very type of investments. Now, the other investment which you talked about, other than FD, it's something which is a post office investment. Now, debt funds generally do not invest in these type of instruments. What is the difference between a debt fund and a fixed deposit? The basic difference today is the taxability. Now, a fixed deposit, the interest you get on a fixed deposit directly gets added to your total income and taxed as per your income tax slab. Whereas the income, the return that you make out of debt on a short term, which is less than 3 years of your investment tenure, it gets added to your income. But on a longer term, that is more than 3 years, if you have been investing in a debt fund, it directly attracts a long-term capital gain tax, which is much lower than a fixed deposit interest tax.
Debraj Das, more conversation with him on Swatantra. Don't go anywhere.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi.
Swatantra, an investor education initiative by UTI, supported by 94.3 Radio 1. Debraj Das is my guest of the week, talking about debt funds and trying to understand them. He's founder of LearnEX. It's something that's fascinating, this mobile app launched for training on concepts of banking, mutual funds, and insurance. Okay, the last question for the day is the fact that one needs to balance one's portfolio. How can one balance one's portfolio with debt as well as equity?
So, Rishi, there is a very simple concept, a thumb rule you may call in investment, which is 100 minus your age. So, somebody aged 30, 100 minus 30 is 70 years. So, 70% of the portfolio of that investor should be in equity, okay? And remaining balance 30% should be in debt. Somebody aged 60, so 100 minus 60, 40 should be the maximum one should invest in equity. Why does this particular thumb rule being applied in investing? Equities per se are, conceived as a more riskier asset class. So as the age grows, the risk appetite of the investor supposedly comes down, and hence riskier assets should also be avoided. And hence this is the way the portfolio is being balanced between equity and debt.
Devraj, I look forward to catching you tomorrow. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks a lot, Hrishi.
All these conversations are uploaded at the end of the week on Friday on www.bswatantra.com. Go revisit it, tell your friends and family about it. That's bswatantra.com.
UTI Mutual Fund presents UTI Swatantra Series Season 2, powered by 94.3 Radio 1. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi
On Swatantra, an investor education initiative brought to you by UTI in partnership with 94.3 Radio 1. Some of the finest minds in financial advice come in and give us the wealth of their expertise. Debraj Das is my guest for the week, a postgraduate in management, founder of LearnEX, a mobile app, a free of cost training for the bottom of the pyramid youth to become job ready in sectors like banking, mutual funds, and insurance. He is in studio. Good morning, Debraj. Wonderful to see you here.
Hi, good morning, Hrishi. Good to see you again.
Excellent. Now, what is the correlation between debt funds and interest rates? Let's talk about that today.
Debt funds and interest rates, they do not like each other very much, So they move in opposite direction. The returns of debt funds go higher when the interest rates come down, and vice versa happens when interest rate goes up. Primarily because we need to understand this in a simple example. So you have a fixed deposit. Debt funds invest in fixed income instruments. So you have a fixed deposit which is yielding you 9% interest today. Tomorrow the interest rate comes down to 8%. Suddenly I come and ask for your fixed deposit which is at 9%. You would obviously ask for a premium to give your fixed deposit to me. And hence the return on debt fund increases.
More Debraj Das up ahead. Don't go anywhere. It's Swatantra.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi.
It's Swatantra, an investor education initiative by UTI Mutual Fund in partnership with 94.3 Radio 1. Debraj Das is in studio and it's been an eventful week and still one more day to go tomorrow. Debraj, the last question for the day is income funds are considered volatile. Why so?
Okay, Hrishi, what happens is when an income fund is in question, the income fund generally invests in longer dated bonds. Okay, the longer is the average maturity of the portfolio of a bond fund, the more volatile it becomes because of the interest rate fluctuations. And hence, an income fund is considered to be more riskier than the normal debt funds.
And it's something that people still look at if their goals sink in or coordinate with income funds.
So again, so it is about the risk-taking ability of the investor, basis which even a debt fund has to be decided. So an FMP is probably one of the most safest debt fund vis-a-vis an income fund where one can, actually get caught between the interest rate fluctuation.
Debraj, I look forward to seeing you one last time this week tomorrow. Cheers.
Bye.
UTI Mutual Fund presents UTI Swatantra Series Season 2, powered by 94.3 Radio 1. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi.
Swatantra, an investor education initiative by UTI in partnership with 94.3 Radio 1. Some of the finest minds in finance on the show here. And Debraj Das is one of them, alumni of Indian Institute of Management, Bengaluru, and currently really enjoying what he's doing, which is being founder of LearnEX, a mobile app launched for training on concepts of banking, mutual funds, and insurance. Welcome to the show one last time this week. How are you?
Hi, Hrishi. I'm fine. How are you?
Excellent. Debraj, returns are not guaranteed on debt funds. Why are they called fixed income funds?
Okay, Hrishi, this is a very paradoxical situation. Okay, now why a debt fund is called safer? It is called safer because the investments a debt fund does into it invests into fixed income instruments like fixed deposits, corporate bonds, or Government of India bonds. But there is no guarantee of returns of a debt fund, whereas it invests in a fixed income instrument. Now, why does this happen? It happens because there are two major plays which happens in a debt fund. One of the biggest risk is the interest rate risk. So whenever I told you that the a bond fund return and income fund return and interest rate, they do not see eye to eye. If the interest rate goes up, the return of an income fund or a bond fund comes down. So the fluctuation in interest rate is one big risk. And the second risk is the default risk of any of the underlying investments where the bond fund invests into.
The last leg of conversation with Debraj Das up ahead on Swatantra. Don't go anywhere.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi.
It's Swatantra, an investor education initiative by UTI in partnership with 94.3 Radio 1. Debraj Das has been an able comrade all through the week, educating us on debt funds, and we've understood it even better. This is a man who's founded LearnEX, a mobile app, which is a free of cost training for the bottom of the pyramid youth to become job ready in sectors like banking, mutual funds, and insurance. My last question has got to be, how effective is the credit rating of an instrument or a fund, Debraj?
Rishi, so as I said, that the second type of risk, which is the credit risk or the default risk of the underlying investment, when the credit rating is taken care, you know that how far am I able to reduce the second risk, which is the credit risk. And hence the credit rating of the instrument that I am investing into as a fund manager of a debt is very, very important before deciding on which debt fund to invest. Now, it is very simple. Higher the credit rating, the interest rate offered in that particular instrument would be lower, and hence the returns made by that bond fund or income fund which is investing in that instrument, the returns would be lower. At the same time, bond or an instrument whose credit rating is lower has to give higher interest rate, and hence the returns made by the bond fund investing in that type of instrument would be higher. So it depends upon the risk taking capability, which type of bond fund one has to invest into.
Debraj, has been an eventful week. Thank you for your diligence and your patience for coming in every day. And thank you for being on Swatantra.
Thanks a lot, Rishi. It's been a pleasure.
All these conversations with Debraj Das are going to be uploaded on www.bswatantra.com by the end of today. That's bswatantra.com. Go check it out, revisit it, tell your friends and family about it.
UTI Mutual Fund presents UTI Swatantra Series Season 2, powered by 94.3 Radio 1.